trainers, and welcome to the making of the thumbnail episode for Alcremie, which was our Valentine's Day special. We're starting off with the face. I wanted to make a quick note here because it zips by fairly fast. I have the eyes closed, but my Ditto OC still keeps the distinct wing eyelash effect. However, I noticed Alcremie has these two little dots above their eyes that are the same color as their eyes. So I just took my OC's eye color and put them in those little dots. But anyway, Alcremie is kind of OC creation heaven because there are so many different variations with, like, canonically, so many versions. Look at that chart. You'll see that chart flash up a lot because I used a lot of references to mix and match my Ditto Alcremie. I'm not sure if it's Alcremie or Alcremie. I did fix a little detail there. You notice in my sketch I had more of a oven mitt hand, when it turns out they actually have 3 fingies. I typically use the line tool a lot in most of my designs, but this one is kind of a special exception where most of it, if not at minimum half of it, I did freehand. I'm using paint.net and I do all of this with a mouse. I do not have a tablet, which is typically why I prefer to use the line tools. But since it's a Pokemon made of cream, I felt that the hand tool, it would be alright for it to be a little wiggly. I used the line tool for the more crisp, I'm not sure what you would call that, when you can see the mix of filling and edging in a cream, but keeping the swirl, I guess I'll call it the swirl, keeping the swirl crisp, but the outline more soft and gooey, I felt was more aesthetically correct, more appealing, more faithful. There we go. More faithful to the Pokemon themselves. So this drawing took me a bit under an hour. Technically, it was even less than that, but there is a point in the video where I cut out a lot because I had to go tend to my... You might be able to hear him now. He's at the door. I have a 1-year-old Maine Coon kitty who is very rambunctious. They are currently pawing and meowing at the door as I record. And so I was interrupted a lot by that little rascal. So with those swirl lines, I always keep the rounded tip because there's 4 options. You can have the straight cutoff, you can have a rounded edge, or 2 different types of arrows. I used the line and then I just tapered it off with the eraser. I decided to go with the heart candy toppings because it's a Valentine's Day episode. You gotta have hearts. I initially freehanded these 2, and then I was looking at it and it really bothered me that they weren't that symmetrical. So you'll see in a second, I just erased the one and I copied the one I liked. I liked that one because it had a bit more of a tighter shape to it. And then just pasted. Copy, paste, flip is a method I use a lot for little things like that. And then just cleaned up the lines to fit it right in. So this is probably another instance where I had to go and tend to the cat. So yeah, filling in the body color. I debated a bit with the body color. I was debating if I wanted to have the original color be the main flavor, I guess you could say. I decided on a gradient to do the gradient variation. So we have the Ditto color being the main color, and eventually I'll go in with the white gradient, mostly because I really like the look of the gradient design for Alcremie. It makes it a little more dynamic. So yeah, also pink and white just felt very fitting for Valentine's, so I guess it would be like a strawberry and vanilla, I suppose it would be. Yeah, going in, seeing where all the gradients are, just using my tried and true method of just blasting the color on solidly, and then going back in with the eraser and tapering off the color to blend them together to get that soft gradient. and then getting the little neck muff. Once again, I didn't really like the look of the solid color, so I just used the paintbrush tool and then went in to feather the gradient on. I made them blushy because it's a sweet holiday, and also this episode it featured tickling, as I've noticed tickling and giggling were requested of me a lot for commission work, so I finally decided to just have an episode with it to recognize the growingly popular theme, I guess. I'm not fully sure how to PG say it. So now we're working on the cream heart. I used the original colors of Alcremie. Once again, I am honing my skills. I mentioned this in the Gudra episode, which I did Alcremie and Gudra in the same session, so these were done back to back. But I continue to hone my skills of drawing goo and cream and various thick liquids. Doing the strawberries. I didn't put too much detail in the strawberries because I already have so much going on in this design. This is one of my most dynamic designs that aren't focused solely on the Pokemon. There's a lot of background elements. So I kept the strawberries very simple because they're also simple on the strawberry Alcremie. And then just had them like cream dipped. The delicious cream. Kept the seeds very simple. And then I liked the pops of blue for the berries. I basically just used a lot of the alternate toppings to make this plentiful fruits basket of a Valentine's special. So with the strawberry tops, I wanted the green tops, because I know with the Alcremie you can't see it, but I wanted the green leaves to better emphasize and telegraph that these are strawberries. But I was very used to the image in my head of the leaves sloping down, almost like an emo hair. So there was a pause there where I actually looked up some strawberries, because with them sloped down like that, but with how the cream is dripping, it just didn't feel right. It didn't look right in my head. So I just looked up a reference of underview of strawberry, and I saw them just spiking up like that, and it's like, yeah, that's good. And then those adorable little flower candies. It's like, it's Valentine's Day. You gotta have flowers. And I just found them so very sweet, and it fills that space very nicely. Once again, doing the copy paste. I had the orange and yellow on 2 different layers, so I just really needed the orange to copy over because the yellow center is very easy. And then doing the background. Taking a little liberty on which colors I used, because they're technically all still Alcremie colors. I went with the reds and pinks, again, emphasizing the Valentine's Day aspect. This gradient is not the final gradient. I do redo it so that those flowers don't blend in so much, primarily the petals. I accidentally... This is where you can see I'm getting tired. I'm getting my buttons mixed up, and I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Get the DDD in the background there. I kind of like how the one berry accidentally ended up in the center. So yeah, I'm darkening the edges so that the orange doesn't blend in so badly. And getting the episode number 30. I've done so many episodes now. It's incredible. And now we're into the shiny aspect. Sorry if you're hearing a lot of clicking and crunching. I'm kind of shifting in my chair because I've been working late. So working on all of the shine. I put shine on, I think, just about everything except the flowers and the berries. But everything else is going to get a shine. Creme, the cream itself, the strawberries especially. I like shiny things. What can I say? So with the cream, this is using a method, again, that I went into in the Gudra episode, where to make something pop, you need the base color, the shine, and the shadow. I initially tried to just have the base color and the shine, but without an outline, it's hard to really get the feeling that it's thick, because it's a thick milky cream. So without any shadow, it looks very flat, it looks very thin, not as dynamic as I wanted it to be. So I went back in to experiment with creamy shadows to give it a bit more dimension to it. And you'll also see me zooming out a lot because I'm one of the types where I start out very light and then I go darker. Mostly that's how I do my physical art because I am a cautious paranoid artist where I am afraid I can't take something back. Which is also kind of funny because it's balanced out by my it looks good enough mentality. So yeah, getting those the splits and the droplets, emphasizing those because I like it being drippy and splashy to once again more so emphasize that it is a moving liquid. And putting a shine on those candies because how can you not? I'm kind of assuming they're candies. They could like be fondant or something similar. I don't know. I like to think of them as like little hard candies. And putting some extra shine on the strawberries, kind of like they're preserved strawberries. Like, I know you wouldn't have the green on them then, but again, I just really like the look. And there is our sweet little Alcremie. I really, really enjoy how this one looks. Typically with the holiday special ones, I really like how they look because I play around with the backgrounds a bit more. I try to keep these fairly simple to honestly to pump them out so that my posts have a thumbnail. But I also just can't help but play. It's so fun, and I just want to add more and more and more, and it's hard for me to cut myself off. So the holiday episodes are my way to indulge myself, I suppose you could say. So, thank you everybody for joining me on this thumbnail time-lapse adventure. There is a link to the public edited audio episode that joined with this thumbnail, as well as a playlist to the other art time-lapse videos. I hope you will enjoy the rest of my channel, give it an explore, a subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.